Today is going to be a bit of a different episode. I really value transparency and vulnerability. And I have to be honest, today I just do not have it in me. I don't have it in me to quote unquote add value in a way that I might usually before. I feel on the verge of tears. It's also that time of the month, so that does not help. But I am tired. I am just genuinely tired. And what I need now is to rest rather than to figure out a beautifully, whatever, written podcast episode for you. And so I'm just showing up here and I'm going to read you something, a post, a carousel, if you know what that is, that I came across earlier this week. Or actually, somebody shared it with me. And I'm going to read it to you. And it's specifically about entrepreneurship. I think that even if you're not an entrepreneur and you have never dreamed of being an entrepreneur and you never will be an entrepreneur, that you can still find value in this post. There's deep wisdom in it. And I'm going to go ahead and read it to you. Just for full credit, the person who posted it is Chris, the co-creator. And it starts saying 10 years of entrepreneurship, a love letter to the ones who refuse to quit. So I'll chime in as I'm reading this, AKA me, because I am one determined SOB and I will figure this out. And mind you, I say I'll figure this out. And I have, inside of Brave Academy, a good 70, maybe 80 women, maybe 85. I don't even know, to be honest, maybe 80 in there right now. And so in many ways, I have figured it out. And it's just the complications, so many factors. Anyways, let's get back to the post. They tell you about the money. They tell you about the freedom. They tell you about waking up when you want, making your own rules, sipping coffee on a Tuesday morning in a city that smells like a postcard. They don't tell you about the first time you realize that your rent is due and there's nothing but crumbled receipts and a hopeful prayer in your bank account. They don't tell you about the night you spend on the floor, not because you're drunk or high, but because the weight of building something from nothing is pressing into your ribs like a 1,000-year-old boulder, whispering, "Who the fuck do you think you are?" They don't tell you about the sacrifices, the birthdays you'll miss, the friends who don't understand why you can't just chill for one night, the lovers who leave because they need someone more predictable, more stable, more there. They don't tell you how your business will feel like a mirror, one that doesn't care about the version of you that looks good in interviews, but the version of you that still flinches when you open your mouth to ask for what you're worth. The version of you that learned to hustle out of survival, not strategy. The version of you that wakes up in a cold sweat at 3 a.m. because what if it all disappears overnight? They don't tell you how many times you will want to quit. They don't tell you how many times you'll write the resignation letter to yourself only to delete it the next morning because something inside you refuses to kneel. They don't tell you how many times you'll taste failure like raw, bleeding wound, only to realize it's the seasoning of God's turning you into someone who cannot be undone. This decade has been a pilgrimage. It started with me broke and broken, standing in the ashes of a life I set fire to because I had no choice but to believe in something bigger than my circumstances. It started with me running from who I was, from what I feared, from a past that had every reason to keep me small. But somewhere along the way, the running stopped. Somewhere along the way, I learned that entrepreneurship isn't about money or titles or scaling to a number you can slap on your Instagram bio. It's about the alchemy of becoming. It's about walking into the dark and building a bridge out of your own spine. It's about learning to trust yourself in ways no one has ever taught you. It's about the mornings when you wake up and realize no matter how hard it gets, no matter how many times you have to start over, you are still here. You're still breathing, still building, still defying every statistic, every doubt, every reason that you should have failed. So if you're in the trenches of it, if you are in the part that they don't talk about, if you are looking at your bank account or your inbox or your life and you keep wondering, how the hell do I keep going? This is how. You keep going because you have already come too far to go back. You keep going because the version of you who started this journey deserves to see what happens when you refuse to quit. You keep going because the world needs the kind of magic that only comes from those who have walked through fire and lived to tell the story. And if nothing else, you keep going because you are the thing you have been building all along. And that's the last thing. I always say that business has been the greatest journey of personal development for me, not becoming a mom, not overcoming trauma. It's been business. And so if you want to experience that, let's do it. I want to help as many women as possible. I want to make a really big impact. And there are so many women who are scared. And this is men too, but I target women, so I'm going to reference women. They're scared to take the leap. They're scared to sign up. They're scared to work on themselves because what if this happens? What if that happens? You know, this fear comes up, that fear comes up, and I get it. And it's challenging on my end to know that I have what can help you. I have proof, a lot of proof from so many clients. And despite that, it feels like, and I hope that I'm wrong and I'll figure it out one day, but it feels like sometimes there's nothing I can do to help them feel more comfortable, to help them overcome the fear, because those tools are all inside the program. And if I gave it away for free, I wouldn't be able to pay my bills. Anyways, I don't know where I'm going with this, but I hope that you found some value in this, whether it was the post that I read, just knowing nobody gets out without struggle. Nobody. Whether they admit it, whether they share it, everyone on this planet is going through hardship, has gone through hardship, or will go through hardship more than once. And so if that's you, you're not alone. And I hope that you can find comfort in that. And if you've been one of the ones that are holding back from allowing yourself to be helped to get the resources and the guidance that you need, I pray that you will take the leap.